As the UK prepares for local elections on the 7th of May, almost 10 million Londoners are ready to cast their vote on Thursday. All eyes turn to the 32 boroughs where every vote will help to shape the city's future and may even signal the direction of the next general election. Across communities, residents are weighing the issues that matter most to them, from housing and safety to public services and local leadership. Islam Channel has been on the ground, speaking to voters about their concerns, their confidence in current councillors, mayors and the parties they believe can deliver real change. Here is what they had to say.
In my area, I don't know. I'm not sure I don't see any major issues. I think there's major issues with the country as opposed to a borough. I think one of the issues is there's not very much connection between the boroughs. Like there's no joined up thinking. Like for example, in Chiswick, you can't get a line bike, but in Fulham you can. So if you go through certain parts of Chiswick, the line bike stops. Now that seems ridiculous, right? All the boroughs should be talking to each other about not only just line bikes, but other things like recycling, and all kinds of issues. There should be a joined up thinking. I know we've got the London Assembly, but I think there needs to be more collaboration between the boroughs. That would be an issue for me. I mean, London is a good functioning city. I just came on the Elizabeth line. It's amazing, right? There's lots of amazing things about London. I think the problem is national. We've lost a sense of a story about who we are, where we're going, and why. I think as people, as Londoners, as people from the UK, we need to come together around a common story, a shared narrative, and have a common purpose in terms of where we're going, why, and how we're going to do it. I don't think we have that at the moment. When you don't have that story, development, progress, whatever you want to call it, is slowed, fractured. We need to come together as people under common values, shared values, and that's how we progress, right? And what we share much more than what's different. The difference is minuscule between all of us. We're humans. We have the same values essentially, and we're worried about the 0.0001% of difference when we should be concentrating on what we share. I don't know if I'm going to vote for anybody. I think like Sadiq Khan is quiet. I don't see a huge amount of stuff that he's doing, but maybe that's good. Like Boris did a lot of big stuff, big shiny buses and various infrastructure projects, but were they beneath that? Was he doing good stuff, in the detail, which is where it really matters? Maybe Sadiq is doing stuff in the detail where it's really important for people who don't have very much or whatever it is. I don't know, but I can't see that. It's not visible. The great thing about Boris was he was very visible. Big projects and, but whether he was doing anything behind the scenes that was valuable, who knows? I think Sadiq is quite invisible in terms of his progress, I would say. I think we've got a problem in politics right now in that there's no one that is really exciting. I mean, I think Zach Polansky has done some amazing job with the Greens. Like he's taken them from nowhere to somewhere quite special. The Labour Party, I think the Labour Party should be given a chance. We've had 12 years of the Tories, we've had Brexit, absolute utter destruction of so many aspects of the life. I mean, the last people on earth I would vote for are the Tories. The last people on earth. The last people on earth would be Reform, then the Tories, Labour, yes, the Greens, yes, but they're maybe a little bit fringe. I mean, if I was going to vote for, essentially I'm a Lib Dem. I believe in the centre. Where people come together in the centre. That's really where my heart is. Yeah, I'm essentially a Lib Dem. Nigel Farage should never come anywhere near the levers of power. The man is a human wrecking ball who has destroyed the fabric of this nation, and he is a despicable human being. And we shouldn't. I mean, he's a liar. I mean, it's just total garbage that comes out of his mouth. He sounds good, but there's no, the substance is corrupt. He should never be allowed anywhere near the levers of power.
It's a lot of issue, nobody sort it out, It's a lot of issue. I've lived here for 6 years, a lot of issue, It's first car is USP is free, no they charge money for the car parking in front of the house. And also the housing is the main thing, I don't vote for nobody. It's no good, you waste your time, I go down there, in my age, I'm 74, I go down there, vote every year, so nothing happens,
For the elections, I want to vote for Labour. I think because where Labour is in control at the moment, so I think it's very tough out there. I mean, all parties have different opinions and different says, but all I can say and vouch out for whoever gets the best votes to support, Palestine and support, other, means of, humanity or charity for that reason, are going to do a good deed, So I don't, like I said, I'm not into politics. Not really, no. I think it's very much, it's very difficult to say. And it's a system where, either it's for you or against you. But yet, there are some parties that need to really address important situations that are happening in and around the world that can support humanity and support charity at the same time.
Ooh, this election is quite, I'm not really political in that stance. So for me personally, I feel like the current election system is quite outdated. Everyone has their own gains, specific gains. So I won't be electing for anyone on my specific borough. So the last 4 years would be the private rent sector. Also, 70% of the income that you get as your take-home pay go into rent. So I think that's really one of the major issues in my area. And the families that struggle, that don't have access to therapy. So I think that's also another issue as well. The mayor of my borough, he's been sustainable, but in terms of progressing, I think it's been quite stale. I think a lot more could be improved, especially when it comes to families and kids, and because most of the population, 70%, is family owned around our borough. So I think making it more supportive of families and being able to help. Someone that kept me hopeful and when I used to vote was Jeremy Corbyn. But of course, I think he's got his own party. Hopefully he can take work on most boroughs and focus on working with the communities to up his votes. But I think one person that would give me a glimmer of hope would be Jeremy. It's been quite, with recent, I've seen with recent reports, the Labour's in charge, they've had a quite drop since they've been in charge. So, and the recent with the investment that private funds that Reform are getting, I don't know if that could change. But I think in terms of the borough for East, I think it might remain the same because I don't think Reform would take the East borough.
That's why I stopped voting, so. Well, inshallah, I'll see which one's better, green or wherever, left is, I'll see which one here, inshallah. So, well, Labour let us down big time. Yeah. I voted Labour last time and, so that's why I stopped voting. But if I see any party that's better than Labour, I might consider voting back again. So. Yeah, we hope so, but you never know. It might change, They might change. These politicians, they're it's a kind of just, the job or something, because they say something and they end up doing different. So, yeah, they're not worthy of trust. Yeah.
Well, I think the main thing is, it's not necessarily, I'm happy with the area. I think the main concern is around what's happening in the world. It's like what we want is peace, and we want the government to be more aware of that. So it's not just a particular area, but we just want peace for people. We want to live in unity again. We don't want to see all this painful stabbings and various things. I've not made up my mind yet. I don't like continual change, so it would be preferable if the government that's in place at the moment could get things right. And actually, I think maybe we're at a point with all these wars going on that we don't necessarily need to be focusing on the government, but rather working together.
Especially as it regards to some amenities that are provided. I also look at the council accommodations. These days, most of the time, it is now social renting instead of social housing. And I don't know why it is so, because you don't expect somebody who has worked here for 20, 30 years to get into social renting instead of social housing. And I don't know how that distinction or disparity was created, but that's a new thing I'm discovering. I have applied, and instead of giving me social housing, I'm being given social renting. That's what I'm bidding for. I've not got it at the moment. So that should be looked into, because it's affecting a group that it is not supposed to affect. I don't really belong to any party. I just look at the work the individuals do and I vote for them. I don't mind whether it's Labour, whether it's Conservative, whether it's there's the other one in Tower Hamlet. Yeah, but if I see the work they are doing, I vote the individuals rather. That's what I do.
Well, I'm still a little bit undecided, but I think I'm probably going to go for the Green Party representative. I think I'm losing hope in the current, the main two parties that I've usually voted for. So usually I go for either Conservative or Labour candidates, usually Labour. But I think given that everything that's happening in the country at the moment, it doesn't seem like either party is in a place to help us. Whereas I think at least with the Green Party, they seem to be more focused on issues that are affecting the everyday person. I think people are really feeling the squeeze in terms of the economy. I feel that people don't see the government listening to them or actually intervening. So I think a lot of their priorities in terms of just even where police are focused. So petty crime is on the rise. Everybody's seen it. You know, if you go to your local shop, you can see it happening, and yet, you know, instead we're seeing them arrest protesters over, you know, freedom of speech issues. And yeah, so I think it's just they're focusing on all of the wrong issues. We've got a Prime Minister who decides to talk about a football match instead of actually talking about the housing crisis that is being experienced, particularly in London. Inflation, what are they doing to stop it? Everything's going up and we're not seeing any solutions to preventing them. I don't know if it's for everybody, but for me personally, yes, that's a big contributing factor. I think a lot of the country, particularly Londoners, really feel strongly for Palestine. We think what's going on there is wrong, it's abhorrent, and our government seems to be very sympathetic towards Israel. I think we shouldn't have allowed America to use our bases, because actually we're now complicit in the war as well. I think they've also got huge issues. I think notably, I don't want us to be more like America and reform. I think some of their policies are pulling us more towards a lot of division. And so I think we're going to become a lot more like America if we have a swing towards reform. So I'm really quite concerned about some of what reform candidates have said and what they stand for. They don't stand for my values.
In this area, I think, as youth unemployment, NEETs, health and education, those sorts of issues. Well, I've been a member of that party for over 30 years, and they're the only party that's always consistently believed in human and personal rights. I mean, consistently across all groups of people, not just their favourite client groups. Why the Labour Party? Well, it's got very deep roots, hasn't it? I mean, you probably know the first Labour MP elected here in, 1896 in Stratford Town Hall. Deep roots in the Labour movement, and I do think they speak commonly for working people. Well, I don't think the Liberal Democrats are going to win in Newham, but, that doesn't mean I shouldn't vote for them. Climate change. I don't know what Labour's policies are on climate change. I think I could probably tell you something about the Liberal Democrat policies on climate change. Labour's policies... Actually, no, Ed Miliband's done quite a good job. I think he's a strong performer in terms of renewable energy, so I don't think that can be doubted. And that's been a long-term policy since... Ed was a minister, I think, in Gordon Brown's government. So, yeah, I think they do have a track record on that. I think big issues in London, Labour's position on Palestine, I don't think there's any doubt that that's going to turn off an awful lot of people, and I understand that. That's probably the big emotional issue, isn't it? I wouldn't put any money on it. I think they've got some very strong competition. I mean, both from Reform, from the Greens, and there's a very, very strong independent movement in East London. I mean, in this borough, if the independent candidates won my ward, Forest Gate South, I wouldn't be surprised about that. Well, first of all, vote. I think that's always important. And vote for what you believe in. I mean, regardless of the party, I think it's important to vote with values rather than tactically.
I am planning to vote for Green Party this time around because I think they're the ones who, we have tested Conservative and the Labour. Now, I think Green Party deserves a chance to serve the nation. Because, we have had Conservatives and it's been quite some time that Labour is in power, but the people are, by and large, the cost of living has gone up, people are facing difficulties, so Labour has failed to deliver on its promises, so I think it's for someone else to have a chance now and start building up their thing from the local bodies. So yeah, this time around, I think Green Party has my vote. People have seen Labour and its narrative and its policy regarding Palestine and Gaza. So yeah, people are clearly unhappy with the way Labour dealt the situation, and clearly there is a lot of I would say unsatisfaction and dissatisfaction amongst the masses and the voters towards the Labours and their candidates and the leadership in totality. Well, you see, it's a different thing. It's not a national election. It's a local level election. So depends on the candidates actually. More than party standing, it will be a candidate's reputation in the area as well, and how people think they can get their problem solved by a person. So I think Labour has a chance, but I don't think that the Asian community is very happy with the way Labour is dealing with issues, especially immigration and stuff.
Now, I don't think that they won't be able to win. And if you ask my personal opinion, it depends on how good the government is doing and how good the leaders are doing. But I'm not so sure that they're doing a good job. Not many are satisfied with what is going on in and around. So I think whoever is in the party are going to have a very tough competition from the competitors. The general administration, I don't think people are happy. It is possible that the Green Party is just going to come into the force. But then, once again, you can never know till the results come out. Labour Party also has a good stance, but I'm sure the Green Party is going to give a good, tough competition. And why is that people are not happy or people are happy? See, personally speaking, I've been seeing a lot of disturbances that is going on in and around this area. So I think Labour Party is going to have a tough time. This is my honest opinion. I'll tell you, this Palestine in no way belongs to UK. So Palestine, I don't think it has got any kind of influence over the citizens of United Kingdom, excepting the thoughts of certain people here go with the Palestine. But I don't think that should make a difference to anybody. So I think, like, in generally, Keir Starmer government does support Palestine some way or the other. I'm not so sure, but elections, you support Palestine, you don't support Palestine, it should not make any difference. If Keir Starmer is strong, his party will win. If Labour is strong, his party will win. If not, the Green Party is going to give a tough competition. No other country outside UK has any influence on the voters here in this country because Palestine has its own problem. UK has its own problem. So it depends on what UK government does, not for outsiders, but for within the country.
In last election, I voted for Labour, but Labour is not Labour anymore. So I'm fed up with everyone. So Labour is not doing well for middle class and lower middle class, and they're acting like Tory now. To be very honest, I won't vote for anyone because I'm fed up with everyone. They haven't done anything right for this country and for the people of this country, and they're pushing everyone away from a normal life. I think the Prime Minister Keir Starmer, he is a Labour candidate, but I don't think so. He is from Labour. He's not from a Labour person. All the policies he's adopting, they're ridiculous. We don't like them.
Yeah, in the local board elections, I think the Workers' Party is the best. I think they're going to win because I see great changes done by them. And on social media too, they're posting stuff about like the problems in Ilford, Barking and stuff like that. So I think they're going to win the elections. I think the Workers' Party is the best and like they're going to win because I've seen major changes done by them. Like, like there's potholes all over the area, like only on social media too. They're posting videos about the problems all over Ilford, Barking and stuff like that. So I think probably the Workers' Party is going to win. In my personal opinion, I haven't seen many changes done by the Labour Party, but the Workers' Party, as elections coming up, they're doing like many stuff, fixing stuff, and the people who are coming up for the elections, like the councillor post, they're posting stuff about the problems and how they can help the community. So the thing about war is that how they're in war, but like the UK is not involved in the war. So I think like the Workers' Party, it's like not like related to kind of the war. So like they not involved, like UK's not involved in the war. So I don't think it should matter about the war, but it should matter in some cases, like how they like people treating in Iran and what's the condition going on in the US.